1st, 2013. And I'm Holly. Hi. So how has everybody been? It's been a little while. I know, but life. um, I hope everybody's had a really good time away. Hope you've gotten a lot of knitting done. A couple of things that I want to cover first. I guess the Stockinette zombies would call this administrati. Fiona Down Under Yarn would call this administratia, whatever. I'm podcast stuff. A few things that I just wanted to make sure everybody knows. It is the 29th, which means that you've got 2 days left to enter your socks in for the drawing on the Socks thread to win a skein of sock yarn in a colorway of your choice. Awesome, right? So what I will do is on September 1st, I'll go in, I will close the thread and start the September threads. I'll probably be up at midnight on August 31st, but we'll see. And I will also do the same for the sweater thread, even though there's no, or the finished objects thread, even though there's no prize for that. I'm loving seeing you guys show off what you've finished. I love the fact that the group's become a little more active, so thank you for that. Also, on the group, if you haven't been in a little while, sorry, that's George shaking the camera. If you haven't been on in a little while, there are a couple of new threads that I'm hoping everybody will participate in. Or their traveling knitter, Michelle, my friend, started a new thread called Enable Me, because she wanted to see what everybody else was getting enabled on. And I know that I've done my share of enabling. And yes, I'd like to get enabled as well. Not that I need to. Hi, George Tail. So definitely, I'd love to see what you guys are finding out there and share those finds with everybody else. I also posted a poll in the group. It's probably going to come down today, but I'm going to try and do that a little bit more, deciding on my next sweater. We'll see if I get that down today or if I get that down in a couple of days. I think I've decided what my next sweater is going to be, but I'm trying to use the features that are on Ravelry. Yeah, and if you guys are watching the podcast either on YouTube or on Ravelry on the YouTube link that I provide, or through iTunes, and you're not going through the blog, you may want to go ahead and bookmark the blog, or if you're using a blog aggregator, I used to use Google Reader before it died. Died meaning Google's no longer giving it support. I've been using Feedly, which has actually worked really nicely. So I would suggest doing that because I am planning on using the blog a little bit more than I have in the past. I know that I told you the last time I recorded that I was going to put a review of the unofficial Harry Potter knits up on the blog, and that has gone up. And I know that people have found it, so yay. But I'm planning on doing that a little more often. So, using the blog for what it's supposed to be, as well as for you guys and putting up the podcast. So yeah, just a few things that I wanted to kind of get out there. Also, so you guys have kind of noticed, I'm sure you guys have noticed, that I have not been putting pictures in, and I've not been putting the segment dividers in. And part of the reason is that I just don't have time. And then when I start to think about it, I get stressed, and then I don't want to podcast because I don't want to put anything out that's not great. Yeah. I'm basically going with the, if I put pictures in, awesome. I would like to be able to do that more often. It's just not happening these days. But I will definitely, obviously keep the title card and the credits because, you want to know where to find me. But yeah, so just a few things to kind of keep in mind. I have not recorded in the last few weeks because I haven't felt like there's been anything to record, or I start getting stressed about, oh my goodness, I got to do all this stuff. So yeah. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Current roster. There is one thing on the current roster, and it's the one living in my Downton Abbey bag, my Downton Abbey Just a Lou bag, and that's sock number 2 of the Bondi socks. So I've made a bit more progress. Yeah, last time I recorded, I hadn't even cast this on. I planned on recording at some point last week, and I managed to just cast on. Yeah. And then the week kind of slipped by me, and I basically just started knitting. I am doing this differently from the first sock in that I'm knitting this magic loop on my Chiagu. I forget how to say that, but Chiagu red lace needles, and it's the 1.5 millimeter lace tip. So you can kind of see they're a little pointy, not as pointy as the signatures, pointier than the carbons. And I'm getting a nice fabric on these. I'm wondering if I'm getting a looser or a tighter fabric than the first sock, because remember how my gauge changed on the foot when I switched over to signatures. So knowing my mom, she'll shove these on her foot anyway. I still have not finished the toe to the first sock, and that's actually in here as well. Oops. Still sitting on signature circs. I actually did one more decrease, but that leaves me with this. Yeah, I don't know. I may just join the yarn back in, rip back to the toe at this point, join the yarn back in, and then just reknit the toe. We'll see. Or knit a longer foot and then reknit the toe. We'll see. I don't really relish weaving in the ends, and I'm not sure if the magic knot that's been going out there that I've actually tried and has worked would be comfortable on a toe, because that's where it would go. I don't know, but you know, these are making progress. I have this much of the yarn left, of the ball of yarn left, and that, I mean, and I'm center pulling, so it's a really squishy ball. But I'm going to have a fair amount left, because that's how I knit socks. It's one of those, I have small feet, and when I knit for other people, I assume that they have small feet, and that's why I'm going to have to rip that sock back and knit long. Basically, I need to rip the sock back and knit longer. That's just what needs to happen. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it needs to happen. But I will still have more than enough yarn to finish the socks. So that's what's on the needles. So, and that's, you know, current roster. I'm going to throw this down here so I remember to take it to work. Which brings us to the finished roster, the finished objects, our alumni roster. Yeah. You might notice I'm wearing something. Now, in the state of full disclosure, it's not blocked, nor are the ends woven in, because I'm not wearing it to work like this. But I have finished the brickless. Yay! So, I mean, it actually got pretty wide, and it's a nice length. It's this yarn. Oh, this yarn will, I can tell, it's going to grow. This is going to grow probably lengthwise. I'm going to try and block out all this lace, all the meshy lace bits. At some, I guess some point this weekend. I finished this on Monday. So I did this just in time to participate in the Knittables Yarnivore Knit Along for Brickless. This is out of Storied Yarn Sock Yarn. I think it's just her sock. Storied Sock, I think. Which is her wool nylon blend in the Condescending Wonka colorway. And last time I recorded, I was complaining about how washed out the colors are. They're not as, they're still a little washed out, but not as washed out. So you can kind of see all the colors represented from the meme. Oh, love this. I cannot wait to actually get this blocked so I can wear it out, and get the ends woven in. But I couldn't. But I was under the gun. I wanted to get this done. I cast it off very late on Monday night. On Tuesday, I took it to work with me. Um, Threw it on one of the empty desks and did a finished object shot. Not that it's actually gone up on my Rav page, but it has gone up on the Knit-A-Wills page for the knit along. So yay! I loved this pattern. This was like potato chip knitting for me. It really was when I got started, I really didn't want to put it down. And then as the sections got bigger and bigger and longer and longer, I didn't want to put it down while I was in the middle of a section. I mean, I did a few times because, hi, girls got to sleep. But I was really, really happy with this. I'm not so sure about ending on the lace, but I also ended up with just that much left. I haven't weighed the ball. Haven't thought about it. I probably could have gotten a garter section out of it. And I was debating on whether I wanted to do the garter section because the pattern basically just tells you to leave it at the lace. I decided to follow the pattern. It leaves me this. As my bestie says, I can use this for a square when I get back to knitting them. So that's just kind of going in the basket that's holding a whole bunch of crap right now. But yeah, so brickless, I love it. It's comfy, it's cozy, it's just what I wanted. The pattern, I knit this on US 6s. So the pattern's written for a worsted weight, the Miss Babs Yowza. So it's written for a worsted weight on size 6s. I basically went ahead, grabbed a fingering weight grabbed this fingering weight that I had just gotten, wound it, and cast on because I wanted that really drapey scarf. Because that's what this is going to get used for. I'm the girl who also knit a clapo tee out of sock yarn and on size 7 needles. Completely for the drape. I'm going to put this back here because it is a little warm. But yeah, a finished object in the last 2 shows. Who am I? So that covers the knitting. The stick handling segment, which still doesn't have a really good name for wheel spinning. You guys saw this in bobbin form last time. This is the Fiber Nymph Dye Works 100% Blue Face Leicester in the Colors of Venice colorway, which was the September 2012 Unclub. And this is 4 ounces or thereabouts. I'm like, I dropped something for enabling. This is 226-ish yards of a 2-ply. Now, if you remember, I was having issues with the put up, or not the put up, the fiber prep from the mill. The dyeing, the dyeing, the fiber, soft as could be. Loved it. Lisa does awesome work with that. But as I was working through it, I found all sorts of veggie matter and non-veggie matter that I was picking out. Some of it was like sticks or like tiny little twigs. I found a couple plastic things in there. I just kept picking them out as I came to them. It was slightly annoying, but it's pretty. I haven't yet figured out what weight this is. I'm guessing I'm going from a light fingering up to a sport or a DK, or sport or possibly a DK in spots. It's a 2-ply. And I mean, it's pretty. I would say that I would not use the plying technique that I used for this ever again unless I had it under tension. I decided to wind it off. I wound it all, or I spun it all onto one bobbin. and then decided that I wanted to go ahead and two-ply it. And so I'm like, okay, I'll wind it off into a cake. I'll two-ply from the cake using both ends. Yeah. Again, I probably will not do that unless I've got a lot of tension on that cake, because that was the most annoying thing that I'm chasing a cake down. I'm trying to keep that in my lap under tension. I'm trying to maintain tension on, while plying on the wheel. Yeah. It would have been easier just to go ahead and break it off at 2 ounces and start a new bobbin. Live and learn. But yeah, so it's pretty. The colors are actually a touch brighter, not much though. I mean, I've got some good light on me right now, so it's almost true. But yeah, no clue what I'm going to do with it. I guess I should probably, well, it needs to be washed. So I guess that I need to do that and then figure out what its actual weight is. Again, I'm pretty much thinking that it's going to be around the 220 range for yardage. So yeah, I'm excited. We'll see what happens. See what happens with it. So actually, this probably should have gone in what's on, the current roster, but it's not really a current roster project. Because basically after I cast on the Bondi socks and got a little bored during the ribbing, and I was in the home stretch with Brickless, I started thinking, Highlands on the Fly is not that far away when you think about it. And I'm looking at the date right now, and it's less than 2 months away. Yeah. And it's going to be Maine, and it's going to be chilly, because October, Maine. That happens. I fully expect that. So I need to get a sweater on the needles and finished for Highlands on the Fly. Stat. So I started thinking of all the sweaters in my queue, because there are a lot. So which is why I put a poll up on the board listing 4 sweaters: the Narragansett sweater, the Chandal, the Breakwater, and Afterlight. Now, Breakwater and Afterlight are 2 fingering weight sweaters. Breakwater is by Cecily Glowick McDonald, I think, and Afterlight is by Amy Herzog. The Narragansett sweater and Chandal are 2 worsted weight sweaters, and I can't remember who designed Chandal, but the Narragansett sweater is by Thea Coleman of Baby Cocktails. So in the spirit of casting on, but not casting on, I was a good girl and I swatched. So I picked up the Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn that I'd picked up at the shop, at my LYS at Fiberspace. You can kind of see. This is actually truly a very light blue, light green, light purple, some tan. You can see here where the color broke, the dye broke a little bit. It's very, very pale. But this is what I was like, if I'm going to do one of the fingering weight sweaters in, that's what I'm going to do it in. So I actually cast on a nice big swatch. Ooh, that's a little bit more true. Awesome. I'm going to try and get that. So that's the Hedgehog Fibers knit on US 2.5, so 3mm needles, which is what was required for Afterlight. So I have not yet washed and blocked this swatch, because I then decided that I needed to swatch with the worsted. So I did 2 swatches for the worsted, and this is a swatch of twisted ribbing. And the camera's showing it, or at least on my monitor, it's a little bluer. just a touch bluer than it really is in person. But this is the twisted rib from the Narragansett sweater, which would be up here. I also did a swatch of the stockinette. And again, I haven't washed or blocked either of these. Mostly because I've been lazy. Because I meant to have that done before. And that's actually using the Mad Tosh 80-10-10, so 80 merino, 10 cashmere, 10 nylon, so the MCN, so the 80-10-10 worsted in the well water colorway that I got as part of the Magnolia Society Club this year. So this was my first package this year. I love how this knits. I really do. Now, that being said, I've pretty much, I think that I'm going to go ahead and do Narragansett. Narragansett is, it's a worsted weight. It should work up quickly. That way I can cast on something else to work on while I'm there. So I think I'm going to do that, but that gives me a little bit of some issues. Let's see, this is the first page. So I'm going to show you the picture because I printed it out. So you can see here that the ribbed neckline is really wide. And then the model, which I believe is Thea, has a fairly relaxed fit. It's not body hugging, but it's also not baggy throughout. Actually, I'm going to do that and show you that picture. That's a little bit closer, slightly different shot. So my problem is what size to knit, because if I knit for my upper bust, so like Amy Herzog says in the Fit to Flatter, you should knit sweaters for your upper bust. And if I do that, that makes sense because then my shoulders are going to be a little narrower. And my upper bust is 41 inches. I'll put that out there. I am not a small girl. So my upper bust right here is 41 inches. So, okay, the 42 would be the best option for me to cast on because that still gives me an inch of ease in that area so I don't feel like, oh my God, it's so tight. Now, my mid bust, so center bust, so right in this area that's being cut off, thank God. I believe that's either 45.5 or 46 inches. Now, my issue is, do I go ahead and just increase out, go with a little negative ease and just go up to the 44, or do I just go ahead and go for the 46 and hope that it's not so big, but also hope that it doesn't pull in so much because I don't want it to be skin tight. I don't need anything showing off the extra curves. I got enough of the curves that I want to show. So I'm still debating that. I really do need to wash and block the swatches to make that decision. I did both of these swatches of the worsted on a size 8 because I knew that's what the pattern called for, and it's what I had available at the time. So I really need to wash and block those swatches, and hopefully that will give me a better clue as to how all of this is going to work, because it should work up fairly quickly, and once it's done and in the round, I should be able to, should being the operative term, I should be able to just power through it. Now, that being said, I hate alternating yarns in the round. Hate. Burning passion hate. Because it always looks sloppy for me. So I know that a few of you guys are really good at doing the alternating skeins of yarn in the round. What are some tips that you might have that I can make that a little cleaner? I already know I'm not gonna alternate in the ribbing. That would drive me insane. That would drive me to drink and curse a lot. So if you can give me any help I would love that. So that's on the list. That's probably going to happen. I say probably as in it's going to happen. I just need to cast on and figure out what I'm doing. So that brings us to our scouting report. Yeah. There have been some new additions. Some new additions to my team. And I have no idea where to even start. I had a couple of weeks where I had some therapy. Retail therapy. Sorry, George is now rubbing up against the table again. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and start with the club. Let me bend down. Sorry, everybody. You didn't need to see my arm like that, but oh well. So I was lucky and I got a spot in the Two Crafty Girls Yarn Club. And that is a club with Sarah of Another Crafty Girl and Dana from Unwind. Love. Two companies that I absolutely love. You guys know that. So I guess this round is all about Impressionist painting. And I was anxiously awaiting what they possibly would do. So I got Dana from Unwinds. I got her skein. And I'm going to show you the inspiration first. The postcard that she included, that was her inspiration. A Sunday Afternoon on the Isle of La Grande Jatte by Georges Seurat. And it's pointillism. It's beautiful. I love this painting. And so Dana was inspired to create this. This is on her Journey sock, which is her 80/20 merino nylon blend. It's 400 yards. And my camera's picking it up a little bluer than it is. It really, while there's definitely the blue there, some of this, which is coming up as more blue, really has green to it. So it's like this blue and green, not a teal, but like green. And you've got shots of purple and natural and some brown, and oh, it's gorgeous. Don't know what I'm going to do with this. But Dana did such a good job. And she's named her colorway La Grande Jatte. Dana did an awesome, awesome job. I've been so excited and waiting to get that. And so this was the August color, which just makes me go, I really, really can't wait for another Crafty Girl. And then she had an update. So to tide me over while I'm waiting for my club colorway from her for next month, yeah, she had an update after Stitches Midwest, I guess. And she had some of her Muppet-inspired colorways up, which I love. And I don't have all of, and I really need to knit what I do have, but that's beside the point. So I ended up getting this. Okay, the color's fairly true there. This is on her strong sock base. You guys know I love this. So it's the 80/20 merino nylon, 400 yards, and it's called Number One Fan. Now, if you haven't seen the most recent Muppets movie, I guess not the one that's coming out, but the one that just came out, or not just, but you know, it's the Walter colorway. It was inspired by Walter, who is the Muppets' number one fan. I love. So I picked up that, obviously. And then I saw this, which is not necessarily a colorway that I would be drawn to because of all of the yellow. But in this combination, oh my goodness. Like the yellows are just pops of this color, and you got the warm golden browns and the pinks, and oh. And this is also on the strong sock because, again, favorite color or favorite base. And this is called Circus Mice, and this is part of her Coraline colorway. Now, I never read the Coraline book, I never read Coraline. Wow, talking hard. It's one that's been on my list of things that I should read, and one of these days I will. But yeah, I fell in love with the color, and yeah, Circus Mice. That wasn't all. That yeah, you guys know me well enough to know that wasn't all. I'm going to go through the yarn first. Yeah. So I also managed to get to, so if you guys don't know, Fiona from A Down Under Yarn, she started a new business. Yeah, she's in the dyeing business. Awesome. And so her shop is Solar Flare Fibers. And she is actually using the sun's power to heat up her dye, to actually help the dyeing process, which is really cool. She's using acid dyes because that's what's going to show up best on that on her bases, and it's going to last. But she's using the sun's power, which is really very cool. I mean, obviously it means that if there are rainy days, she can't use, it's not the same. She can't just go out and dye. But that just intrigues me. It's really awesome. I've seen some of her pictures on Instagram while she's dyeing, and insane. It's so cool. So I managed to hit her first update. And while I would love to hit as many updates as I possibly can, stuff comes from Australia slowly. Really makes me want to go to Australia just to pick up the yarn. Well, between her and Kiki from Yarns vs. Zombies, yeah, totally just want to go to pick up yarn. But anyways, this is on her Apollo base, who again, I'm a big fan of the BFL nylon, and it's so soft. Again, 400 yards, and the color is called Julia. The color has a background to it, has a background story to it. For those of you who don't know, like the international political scheme, Australia just had a very big, very heated election. Their prime minister, their former prime minister now, Julia, I believe her last name is Gilland. I'm not sure about the last name. I know it begins with a G. She is a knitter. I believe that also, that came out, I mean, she's never been closeted as a knitter, but I believe that, like, I'm not sure, I think her opponent kind of used that as, what is she going to do the best thing for Australia? Blah, blah, blah. As if knitters can't actually be good people and do stuff. Either way, again, the talking out of something that I don't know everything about. I was following the elections because I have a few friends, I follow people on Twitter who were talking about the elections. So and I knew that the prime minister was a knitter. So Fiona dyed this in homage to her, which is very cool. I think she said she was sending a skein to the former prime minister. So that is the first one, Julia. And then the second one, again on the Apollo base, is Heartthrob. And it's this lovely tonal red and pink and this wine color. Oh, yeah. And on every label, whoops, let's see if I can get that. Lovingly dyed under the Australian sun. She's in Queensland, which is the top right of the country if you're looking at a map, which means that it's fairly tropical. So they get lots and lots of sun. So yeah, I was very happy to be able to support somebody that I admire, that I follow on Twitter and on, and I follow her podcast. Yeah. So I was very happy to be able to help somebody out, which is how I've basically justified a lot of these purchases. I'm helping some of my favorite dyers. Yeah, don't judge. And then Highland Handmaids had an update. Now, this bag looks like it's got a lot more in it than it does. I mean, it's got enough, trust me. But I managed to hit an update, but when the shop was in preview mode, I saw a bat that was up in the shop, and I have no clue why it was still up in the shop. I'm not taking it out of its bag because, yeah. But it's one of her birch bats. Again, sorry for the glare, but I just don't want to take it out of the bag because I'm not going to use it just yet. And it is a wool nylon blend. So yay, I can work with this. But the colorway, oh, I might have to open it up just because I want to get that out. The colorway is Fine Young Wizard. Think about it. Think about Harry Potter. Yes. It is, I mean, and yes, I realize not everybody is as big a nerd or a Potterhead as I am, and I totally admit to being a Potterhead. But it was fate. It's mine. That being said, I've never spun a proper bat like this. How? It's like I look online and people are like, spin from the fold. I don't know what that is. Again, I'm self-taught, so if anybody's got any help, any helpful suggestions or links to videos or something, let me know. And then I have seen this knit up in a few things. But oh my God, this is so much prettier in person, and oh, it's bright. It's obnoxiously bright. It's her prime colorway in her sugar maple sock, which again, superwash wool, 75-25. So it's superwash wool nylon blend, 425 yards. I love how stinking bright this is. It's like a rainbow, but it's not exactly a rainbow. And oh, but then I fell down the fiber rabbit hole. So her SSKers for the win. And her pitch pine top, which is the Polworth, or she has a lot that she calls pitch pine top, but this is her Polworth. Oh, cat hair, great. And it's this gorgeous blue and gray and natural, and you've got a little bit of tan going on in here. Oh. So there's that. Sorry for all the crinkling. And then a new to me blend. So this is her white spruce top, which is a superwash merino tencel. It's a 50-50 blend, and it's called In Like a Lion. And it is gorgeous. And she still has this up in the shop. I'm gonna have to try and spin this, and if I have some good luck with it, I might have to buy more. But it's lovely, and the sheen, and it's got this gorgeous tealy green and the natural and the gray. Oh. I have no clue how to best spin merino tencel. I have my limited experience with that were in was that there was tencel in the hobbledehoy mini ball bats that I got at Maryland Sheep and Wall. That's been my limited experience, and I wasn't a fan, but I really love how this feels and looks, and oh yeah. Oops, sorry, getting text bombed, and I don't know who would possibly text bomb me. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down. Yeah. Twitter. But yeah, so yeah. But wait, there's more. So that was Highland Handmaids, and I was like, oh my God, that's awesome, blah, 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 blah. And then stupid Facebook, knowing my buying habits. Again, lots of crinkling. I had seen this company advertised on Ravelry, but I hadn't really seen anything about. And then they came up. So Gourmet Stash. I got 2 bags of her fibery tribbles, which I believe is 4 ounces each. No, 2 ounces. So I got 4 ounces. And they're these cute little things. They're gorgeous. She had more in her shop. I decided to just go with the 2. She is a local to me dyer. She's in Gaithersburg, I think. So I got this in no time. So yeah, 2 bags, fibery tribbles. They will get spun up. And it is a Angelina alpaca, silk bamboo, and merino blend. Sorry for, again, the crinkling. But she also sent me a little baggie that had some lovely gifty things. She's got a Petite Deluxe club going on. So where you're getting hand-carded luxury fiber peonies made with the finest fibers in the world. So cashmere, kiviot, camel, yak, vicuña, silk, and alpaca. And so she sent me 2 small peonies. I don't know how to, I've never worked with them, so. In cashmere and silk. And it's a 50-50 blend. I have not opened this because I'm afraid to. This, I really want to get like a super lightweight spindle. And I want somebody to teach me how to use a spindle properly, so that way I can actually so I can play with these and have some fun with them. But she also, she's got another Puny Club. How do you say that? I don't know. Sent me her card, so that way I don't forget. Let's see. Oh, come on. There we go. So Kate from Gourmet Stash, and like I said, I think she's local to me. I'm pretty sure she's Gaithersburg, something like that. And she sent me a sweet little note, which I was like, oh, yay. And 2 Moroccan mint green tea packages. I'm not a big green tea fan. Like, I drink it, but like my blend is always jasmine, but I'm going to give that a try because, hi, why not? There was other stash enhancement that happened, but it's not here yet. I may have placed an order with Kiki from Yarn vs. Zombies. My zombies are shambling very slowly across the Pacific. I got a shipping notice earlier this week, I think. I was like, awesome. And then I placed another I placed another order with Heather from Highland Handmaids because she had the goodies self-striping up. Yeah. But yeah, so I did that. I'm waiting for those to come in. I will show them to you when I next record. Like, I think that's all of the enhancement. I think. So really, that brings us to what's making me happy. And lately, what's making me unhappy. What's making me happy, there are a few things. I finally got a date for our office move. Those of you, well, I've talked about it here. Those of you who have, I see in person also have heard about this. But yeah, my office is moving to our headquarters, which is not much longer, but it's a longer drive for me, which is gonna suck. But I get an office with a door. I got to see it the other week. I was very happy. I may have taken a picture of the empty office so I could be like, what's going where? So I'm very, very excited about that. But we got a date, which is going to be literally mid-October. So we get to move into the office before I go on vacation, before I head up to Maine, which makes me actually very happy because I was worried that they were going to put it off until the end of October and I wouldn't be there to direct my stuff. So, so very excited. So that's that. Last night I actually got to hang with Michelle, my friend Michelle, traveling knitter. And we went to see Miss Saigon at Signature Theater. Miss Saigon, very, very depressing, and slightly predictable musical about the Vietnam era. If you don't know it, look it up. I mean, the songs are gorgeous. The performers were fantastic. This has not been like that's not been a period of history that I've really ever been interested is the wrong word, but you don't really cover it a whole heck of a lot in school. We were talking about this last night, and it was you cover back when back when the states were founded. You cover British history, you cover European history, you cover American history, but then when you get to like the Vietnam era, you just kind of peter out. Like Vietnam and Korea, you kind of peter out. And we have some theories on that, and I'm not going to share them with you now. But it's one of those things that we were both just like, we were both born after that era. I mean, I was born right after. Like, I'm going to give you my age on this one. Like, the fall of Saigon, and we evacuated in April of 75, I believe. I could be wrong on the month, but I believe that that's about when we started the evacuation. And I think that we continued until that August-ish. I was born in July of 75. Yes, I'm old. So it wasn't really something that was on my radar. I grew up with and I grew up in DC. So, or around DC. I remember when the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was built. And knowing that something bad had happened, but not really understanding. And as I grew up, I knew more and more about it, but you don't really cover it a whole heck of a lot in school. So we were both like trying to understand isn't the right word because it is a musical, but it covers a lot of things that just aren't traditionally fun musical things, which is a good thing. I mean, it's beautiful, it's heartbreaking, they did a really good job at Signature. Because it's in one of their small theaters. I mean, Signature's a smaller theater anyway. But you're like right there. So they staged it really well and brought the audience, like made the audience feel like they were a part of it. Not giving, if you haven't seen it, not giving anything away. There is a scene where they are evacuating the last Marines from the embassy, and you see these lights come down and the sounds of a helicopter, and then all of a sudden you start feeling wind. Not as strong as like a helicopter's rotors, but you start feeling wind to make you a part of this. It was phenomenal. So yeah, we did that, and let's see what else is the prospect of yarn always making me happy. The Highlands on the Fly trip is less than 2 months away. I am so looking forward to that. So is Michelle. I'm going up with her. We need to figure out if we thought about driving up, but because she's never seen Maine, we're probably going to fly up. We just need to look at flights and prices, and we're not going to do that until she's back in school, because she's going to be a pastry chef. I'm so happy and so proud, but she needs to work that around that. So yeah. But yeah, so there is that. Things that aren't so much making me happy. Amazon. I love you, Amazon. I absolutely love you. You have everything. But your wasteful packaging. Oh my goodness. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you probably did. Well, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you didn't see the picture that I posted. But I saw on Amazon that I can order tea, and I can order it in bulk packages. So I can order 6 boxes of the teas that I like and have them sent places, which is awesome because I drink one tea here at home. I mean, it's my jasmine green tea. Because I generally drink it either in the morning to gently wake up or at night to help me calm down. But like at work, I'll drink English breakfast because it's got the caffeine. So I discovered that I could do that, and then I could send them different places. Awesome. So I came home, I ordered this on like Saturday, I think. I came home on Monday and I had a package, and it was just the packaging box, and all that was there were the 6 boxes of tea. So it was basically like they pulled it off of the shelf. So they had it all packaged up in the 6 boxes, slapped a label on it, sent it out. I was like, that's awesome. Thank you for not using so much packaging, blah, blah, blah. 2 days later, no, the day later, the next day, I got this huge box from Amazon. Now, I had ordered 3 things that night. The 2 boxes of tea that were being sent to 2 different places, and a gallon of the of Eucalan in the Rapture scent, because that's the jasmine scent that I absolutely love, and I could get a gallon of it, which was going to be sent separately anyway. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get 3 packages, blah, blah, blah. So I get this huge box. And I'm thinking, what else did I order from Amazon that possibly could be fitting in this box? Because this can't just be tea. And I opened it up. Tea. Tea at one end. And a whole bunch of packing material. I mean, granted, they were the inflatable plastic things. But a whole bunch of the packing material at the other end of this long box. Why? I tweeted it at Amazon. Obviously, I haven't heard back because they don't care. But yeah, I was not pleased. When I came home last night and saw that they had finally delivered the gallon of wool wash, they did the same. I could understand it with that, though, because you want to cushion everything around. You don't want to jostle that too much. Although their packaging, like, it was already busted, and I'm going to blame UPS for that, but still. I'm like, okay, great. But with the tea, like, literally, the box of tea, if you just sat it down, or that box that contained all 6 boxes, about that big. The box was like wider than my arm span. WTF? Hey, I didn't say the word, so you know. Yeah. Fun, happy fun times. But yeah, I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting. I really should keep better track of my week. Or my time. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and leave you there. We are at almost an hour. Stash Enhancement will do it to you. So I'm going to leave it there. Have a great week or a great time till the next time I record, and see you guys again. If you'd like to reach me, you can do so by emailing me at sheepishpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Ravelry as Knit Girl, spelled conventionally. You can find the group on Ravelry. Look up in groups Sheepish Podcast, and I think it's like ravelry.com/groups/sheepish-podcast. I think that's the way that goes. I'll look it up. It'll be in the credits. I am on Instagram as knitgirl726. I am on Plurk and on Twitter as Sheepish Podcast, although my Twitter feed for Sheepish basically is everything that I send from Plurk. So anything that I post on Plurk will go on there. If you are on Twitter, let me know. I do have a presence on both. I use my personal Twitter account for a lot. I lock that one down because people at work keep trying to friend me. I have no problems if you know it, but yeah, people at work keep trying to friend me, and I'm like, no. Yeah, my Twitter feed is basically during hockey season, like my personal Twitter feed is during hockey season, lots and lots of expletives and lots of hockey talk. Lots of knitting talk, knitting and spinning talk, and just random stuff. And that's going to bring me to, I guess, my very last thing for what's making me happy, because I haven't talked hockey in a little while. 33 days till our season opener. Yeah. So happy. 33 days. October 1st. I made sure I'm not working a webinar that night so I can actually watch. It is an away game for us. We will be playing the current Stanley Cup champions. We are going to be losing that game. I understand this. I've already come to terms with this, but it's hockey. It's my team. I am so flippin' excited. It's not even funny. So yeah, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and say bye. Have a great week. Great time till I next see you. Don't forget, we've got the group on Ravelry, so I'd like to see you on there. If you're not on there, why not? So have a great week, and I will see you later. Bye.